Hey there. Today we're going to talk about how to help somebody who does not want to be helped. And if you've been in that situation and experienced that frustration of where you just know that you could help somebody, a friend, a family member, a child, and yet they don't want to listen to what you have to say to help them, today's video will help you with that. So I'm sure probably every one of you have had that experience or situation where you have somebody in your life that you care about and they may be struggling in some area of their life, and you know exactly how to help them. You know exactly what it is that they need in order to be happier and to overcome that problem. You know it's oftentimes easier to help others than it is to help ourselves. However, there's a problem in trying to help others. Oftentimes, the other person does not want to change. So let's talk about this for a minute. Think about your own life and when other people have wanted or tried to help you, and they've offered suggestions or ideas. How receptive have you been to those suggestions and ideas? And are there certain people that you've been more receptive to than others? And then we can think about why that might be. So let's talk first of all about how do we tend to respond when somebody wants to give us suggestions or ideas of things that we can do to change. When somebody is telling us that they want us to change or they're giving us ideas to change, what is that really saying to us? So what is the underlying message that's being sent? It's that the way that we are right now or what we are doing is not working. And so there must be something wrong with us. Now, there may be times that we're asking for help, and there may be other times when we're not asking for help, that we don't see anything that we're doing as the problem. We may see the problem as being something outside of ourselves. Now, if we look at that, we can take a side note for a minute. Anytime we have a belief that a problem or a situation that we're experiencing is the result of something outside of us, we can know that that's a false belief, because we don't have any control over anything going on outside of us. And we also know that events, circumstances, situations, those things have no meaning until we attach meaning to them. Whatever we think is the problem, as being the problem, is really not the problem. It's our thoughts and beliefs about the situation that is the problem. And so in order to solve that problem, we need to change our thoughts and beliefs about the problem. Going back to helping someone who does not want help. When we step in and suggest and offer help to others, most likely what we are going to get is resistance. Again, because that person is going to feel like they're being judged, they're being attacked, they're being told that there's something wrong with them. And all of us struggle with self-esteem. And so immediately, if we feel like we're being attacked, our defenses come up and we want to resist or try to get the person to see us the way we want to be seen. And we want to be seen as being okay. So that straight on approach of trying to suggest or give people ideas of how to make changes in their life generally doesn't work very well. So there are two things that we can do to influence change in others. Now, first we have to look at why people do change. And again, people change for one of two basic reasons. One, there is something that they want more than what they have or are experiencing right now, and so they're willing to do something different in order to have something different. So that would be, I'm willing to change for pleasure, so I want something more or better than what I have. The other reason that people change is to avoid pain. So they're in a place of discomfort and they don't want to be there, so they would rather be somewhere else. And so if I want to influence a person in my life that I care about, if I want to be able to influence them to make positive changes in their life, I have to look at how can I influence them to want to change. So there's two ways of doing it. And depending on your relationship with them, you really may only be able to use one of these options. And the first option is for me to live my life in such a way that the people around me who know me and observe me and see me on a day-to-day basis are going to want to have what I have. If I am unhappy, if I'm miserable, if I'm depressed and sad, and I'm going around giving suggestions and ideas to other people about how to make their life better, they're going to look at me and kind of say, who are you to tell me how to improve my life? Take a look at your own life. And this goes back to that question earlier of which people are we more receptive to taking suggestions from? And it tends to be people that we respect, that we admire, that we look up to, who have a life that we want to have. So the first way to influence others, whether that's our friends, whether it's a spouse, a child, somebody that we care about, is first of all, make sure that we're taking care of ourselves. Make sure that we're happy in our life, that we are solving problems in a healthy way, that we are not in that victim mindset, but we're choosing to be heroes in our own life. And as we move forward in our life successfully and happily, other people are going to look at us, they're going to want what we have, and they may begin to ask, what's your secret? Why is it that you're happy all the time? How is it that you can deal with major challenges that you may be facing and yet you don't get discouraged, you don't get depressed? And as they observe and watch and begin to ask us, that will give us opportunities to share with them. If they are not asking, the best thing for us to do before just offering is for us to ask them if they're open to receiving some feedback or some ideas. That way, at least we're not giving ideas uninvited, but we're giving them an opportunity to see if they would like us to share with them. The second thing that we can do to help influence others to want to change is if we are in a position of authority. So as a parent with a child, or maybe in a committed relationship, in a marriage. Now, a boundary is something that we control. It's not anything that the other person can control or change. And so one way that we can influence them to want to change what is going on in their life is by setting some boundaries that they do not like, that they're uncomfortable with, and that we are now in a position to give them what they want only if they comply with or fulfill the boundary that we put in place. For example, if you have a teenager who is excited about getting their driver's license, well, you have control over whether or not they get their driver's license. And there may be some things going on in their life that are not bringing them happiness, that you're concerned about the direction that they're going, and you have tried offering suggestions and ideas, and they're just not receptive to that. Well, you can set a boundary with them and say, until you begin to do these things, until you begin to follow the rules in the home, until you stop missing school, until you bring your grades up, until you stop lying, until you stop being defiant, until you learn how to manage your anger, you will not get your driver's license. Now, that may create a situation for them where their desire for the driver's license is what will motivate or drive them to change the thing that you feel like is not working, but up until that point, it has not been an issue for them. And so by creating that situation now where they want something more than what they have, now you may have an opportunity to share with them some ideas or suggestions, because they may not know how to accomplish what it is that you're asking them to accomplish. If you're asking them to learn to self-govern, and yet they don't seem able to do that, they may now come to you and ask for some ideas and suggestions, which will give you the opportunity to share and to teach them. So those are the two basic ways that we can help or influence somebody to want help in their life. We just need to remember that we have no control over anybody else. We cannot make another person change. All we can do is influence them. And again, we can do that by changing ourselves and making sure that we are living a life that other people look up to, that other people respect, that other people want. And then if we're in a situation where we can set a boundary with the other person, then we set a boundary, making their present situation more uncomfortable so that they're willing to make the changes in order to have what they want. Thanks for watching today. Hope you found this helpful to you. I would love to know what other challenges you're facing in your life. What are some of the things that you're struggling with on a day-to-day basis to overcome? Share with us what those are, and we'll see what we can do to help with that in future videos. If you'd like to know more about what we do, subscribe to our channel and visit our website. You'll see it listed below.